Hi, this is our presentation on Tesla. We are group number 15 for Strat 3700. So what exactly is Tesla? Tesla primarily makes cars, as you might know. They have the Model S, the Model 3, the Model X, and the Model Y. As we can see from this graph right here on the center of our slide, we can tell that Tesla has the majority of their revenue coming just from their car sales. The other major driving point to their cars is autopilot. Autopilot allows the car to basically drive on its own with little to no human interference. However, it should be noted that for autopilot to work, the driver is assumed to be responsible for what's happening with the car, and they have to intervene when the autopilot system makes an unsafe choice. Um, this technology does allow the driver to have a more relaxed commute because, again, they don't have to be paying attention as much because they don't have to be sitting there steering the wheel or watching traffic. The car itself will just drive on its own. So, what exactly is our strategic problem? The main issue that we have found with Tesla and their autopilot feature is how they market it and how people interpret it. Tesla has been heavily pushing out that this feature is all set, ready to go, thus making a lot of people believe that they do not need to pay attention while driving. So, for example, between July 2021 and October 2022, about 474 Tesla cars crashed while they were engaged in the autopilot mode. I do want to note that this wasn't the result of the autopilot system itself failing to detect something. It was on the drivers who failed to pay attention while the autopilot was engaged, so they were distracted by texting on their phone or not giving their full attention to the road, and it goofed up and crashed. They also, a lot of people, like we said, they do give too much trust into it, so we want to make sure that people aren't putting their full lives into this product that's still not fully developed yet. As we mentioned, it is still being worked on to this day. So, crashes and autopilot. Just a few things that we want to mention about this. First off, on the screen here, we have a photo from one of the crashes that happened earlier this year. This is a crash where allegedly the driver was not paying attention while the autopilot was engaged, and they slammed into the back of a fire truck. You could argue that this is also on fault of the autopilot if the allegations are true, because the autopilot should be able to stop the car since there was an object in front of it. Then a reverse situation, actually, I don't have a photo of this one on our slides, but on January 10th of this year, actually, down in San Francisco, just hours before Elon Musk announced that the full self-driving beta was available, a Tesla car was driving underneath in San Francisco, and there was nothing in front of it, and it was in the leftmost lane on this very high-speed road, and it suddenly just stopped, thus leading to a pileup. Thankfully, no one died. One person was injured from it, but this can just kind of show how this emerging technology can be a little scary for some people because it hasn't been fully tested, and we're testing it out on the live road where situations like this can happen.
Tesla's strategy and mission as a firm is centered around accelerating the world's transition to sustainable and renewable energy. They initially were launched in 2003, and around 2008, they created the Tesla Roadster, which was their first large and significant attraction to the public eye, which was more of a sports car wired towards performance. And between 2012 and 2015 is when they started to create the Model S sedan and the Model X SUV. And this is where they begin to have more of a significance in the marketplace as a company because their vehicles are more open to people with children and the average everyday individual. They also made it very accessible to install solar panels in your house, which also come with storage packs, storage containers for your energy. And Tesla's overall mission was to create renewable energy that would be sustainable, and each individual would create less of a carbon footprint.
All right, now moving on to the Porter's five forces analysis. Just the first force we have here, probably one of the most important. There is high competition for Tesla in the EV. not just the EV actually, but even the automobile industry in general. There are just so many established car brands. There are just a lot of threats out there that customers can go to. So there is high competition there. Moving on to the threat of new entrants, this is a low moderate force. The EV market is a little bit tricky to get into if you're kind of new to it. So it's better to be established, but it is a little bit of a threat because companies are starting to get into it a little more. But it isn't too much of a threat for Tesla right now. Just moving on to the next one, they do have a little bit of a weak bargaining leverage with suppliers. They do have strict supply chains, but because they are an established company with EVs and they've been around for a little bit, they can negotiate with these partners and get some advantageous deals. And then moving on to our fourth force that we have here, consumers do have a high bargaining power. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of car brands out there that customers can choose from. So they can easily go somewhere else if they are satisfied with Tesla. So that is a threat. Consumers do hold quite a bit of power when it comes to this. And then the threat of substitute products, as I mentioned before, there are a number of car brands out there, as well as the EV market is kind of newer, but Tesla is pretty veteran when it comes to the EV market because they have been here a while. They're one of the more established names. However, gasoline powered vehicles are still a substitute because electric cars can be a little more pricey, but powered vehicles can still be a substitute. But because Tesla's established, kind of a brand name, they established themselves a little bit. It's a moderate threat.
So within Tesla, there are obviously going to be advantages and disadvantages within the company. Some of the advantages include their battery supply chain. The batteries in Tesla cars are significantly better than their competitors. Not only that, but they have the best battery supply chain in their industry. Their supercharger network is also an advantage because no other companies have had the chance to do something like this. Tesla puts these chargers in places that are pivotal and makes things like long road trips doable. Their software updates are also considered an advantage because this ensures that the cars run better over time and will ideally improve their safety features as well. Tesla's branding has also given them an advantage because they molded the face of electric cars and didn't initially start the trend. Two of their advantages include Tesla's AI and the fact that they are a lot more environmentally friendly than their competitors. Some of the disadvantages include their manufacturing complications and delays. While Tesla is always trying to be innovative, this has the potential for mechanical and production risks and also delays for distribution. Another disadvantage to touch on is that they are having a difficult time meeting their demand, which can affect their brand value. Expected experimenting can lead to an uncertainty of their supply chain, which can then lead to difficulty reaching their future demand.
So most of our recommendations were focused on Tesla's autopilot system, and we came up with 3 key ideas that could help them improve this. First was the accuracy and reliability of their sensors and their cameras. This could help them better detect obstacles, and this would help avoid collisions and accidents. We also said that Tesla could work on reducing the reaction time of their autopilot, and this would help them react to sudden changes on the road. And then third, we suggested that Tesla could develop a more advanced AI system, and this can help them make better decisions in complex driving scenarios, more kind of how a human would react. And then lastly, we said that they could implement a more comprehensive driver training program, and this could help the average person learn the capabilities and the limitations of the autopilot system. And then this would all help their autopilot system improve and prevent crashes.
Listed on this slide are the sources we used for this presentation, and we thank you for watching this presentation on Tesla, who they are and what they do, what their firm strategy is, and their strategic problem, as well as our Porter's 5 Forces analysis, an analysis on their strengths and weaknesses, as well as our recommendations for the company.